They're not controlling you with chains. They're controlling you with smiles. Every word, every pause, every glance is a move on your mind's chessboard. You think you're choosing freely, but your choices were planted long before you made them. That's the silent power of dark psychology. It doesn't scream. It whispers. And the whisper sounds like truth. Percent of what controls you can't be heard. It's in the tone, the look, the silence between the words. Every day, you face manipulation. In ads, in conversations, even in love. The question isn't, are you being controlled? The real question is, do you even see it happening? Welcome to Relentless Lessons, where we expose the psychology they don't want you to understand. They say the truth sets you free. But first, it breaks every illusion you've been living in. You see, most people think manipulation looks loud. They think it's someone shouting, commanding, or forcing you to do something. But that's not how real control works. The real game isn't played in words. It's played in silence, between the pauses, inside the tone, beneath the smile. Every day people are reading you, mirroring you, shaping their words to sound like your thoughts. They adjust their tone when you're uncertain, tilt their head when you hesitate, lower their voice when they want you to trust them. It's not magic, it's strategy, and it works because you're human. You want to be seen. You want to be understood, and that's where they find the key, because the truth is, the easiest way to control someone is to make them feel safe first. They nod when you speak, repeat your words like they agree, mirror your energy until you start to believe, this person gets me. But what you don't see is how quickly connection becomes control. They've built a bridge straight into your emotions, and once you open that door, they don't need force. They have access. This is how mirroring works. It's not manipulation at first glance. It's comfort. But beneath that comfort is intention. To lower your defenses, to make your mind follow theirs. You don't even realize when it starts. A compliment here, a soft laugh there, someone matching your pace, your tone, your rhythm, and then suddenly you're nodding in agreement to things you never planned to say yes to. That's the beauty and the danger of the mind. It's not controlled through power. It's controlled through permission. Gaslighting takes it even further. It's the art of turning your truth against you. When someone makes you question your own reality, your memory, your feelings, your sanity, they steal your trust in yourself. They'll tell you, you're overreacting. That never happened. You're imagining things, and the moment you start believing them, your mind stops being your own. That's when the manipulation is complete, when you no longer trust your own eyes, your own heart, your own instincts. Because once they can rewrite your truth, they own your perception. The most dangerous part, it doesn't feel like control. It feels like care. It feels like concern. That's what makes dark psychology powerful. It doesn't force you to obey. It convinces you that obedience was your idea. You'll meet people who flatter you, who say exactly what you've always wanted to hear. They'll call it admiration. They'll make it sound like love, but flattery is never about you. It's about control. Real compliments make you stronger. Manipulative ones make you softer, easier to mold. And that's how you get caught. Not because you were weak, but because you were human. Because deep down, you wanted to believe in something pure. Think about it. When was the last time you said yes to something you didn't want, just to keep the peace? When was the last time someone made you feel guilty for standing your ground? When was the last time you ignored your gut because someone smiled while they lied to you? That's dark psychology, not some theory in a book, but the invisible war you fight every single day without knowing it. They say 93% of communication is nonverbal, tone, body language, eye contact. That means words are just 7% of the truth. So tell me, if you're only listening to words, how much truth are you really hearing? Every ad that makes you feel inadequate, every post that makes you compare, every friendly conversation that leaves you doubting yourself, that's manipulation in disguise. You don't see it because it doesn't shout. It whispers. It tells you what you want to hear until you start believing what they want you to think. But here's the cruelest part. Sometimes the manipulator doesn't even know they're doing it. Because dark psychology isn't always deliberate. It's instinctive. We all learn to influence, to persuade, to win. But few realize when persuasion turns into control. Maybe that's why the line between influence and manipulation is so thin, because it's drawn inside your mind, and only you can tell when it's being crossed. Most people walk through life unaware that their emotions are being studied, tested, and triggered, that every gesture, every pause has a purpose, that the most powerful weapon ever created isn't technology. It's understanding human behavior, and if you don't see the patterns, you'll keep mistaking control for connection. Dark psychology works because it uses your own humanity against you, your empathy, your hope, your desire to belong. It studies your reactions and plays them like an instrument. When you feel guilty, it softens you. When you feel lonely, it offers comfort. When you crave validation, it gives approval. Until one day, you wake up realizing that you've been living by someone else's script. They didn't steal your freedom. You gave it to them. Piece by piece, every time you ignored the discomfort that tried to warn you. Because manipulation doesn't start when they control you. It starts when you silence yourself to keep them happy. You see, awareness isn't paranoia, it's power. The more you understand how influence works, the harder it becomes to control you. Because once you start noticing the tone, the rhythm, the silence, you start seeing the truth behind the performance. And the truth is simple. Control can't exist in the light of awareness. When you start watching closely, manipulation loses its magic. Every manipulator depends on one thing, your blindness. They can only win as long as you don't see the game. So the moment you start seeing, you start taking back your power. Remember this, the most dangerous chains are the ones you can't see. They don't rattle. They don't break. They disappear the moment you open your eyes, and once you do, once you see how the game is played, you'll never be played again. You can't fight what you can't see. But once you see it, once you truly understand the game, everything changes. Because awareness doesn't just protect you, it transforms you. The moment you realize how dark psychology works, you stop being the puppet and start becoming the player. You stop reacting and start observing. You stop doubting yourself and start questioning everything around you. That's when power begins to shift. You see, manipulation feeds on blindness. It thrives on your uncertainty. The less you trust yourself, the easier it becomes to control you. That's why they make you second-guess every instinct, every gut feeling that tried to protect you. But here's the truth. Your intuition is your oldest defense system. It's not guessing. It's remembering. It's built from every moment your soul recognized danger long before your mind did. That uneasy feeling, that sudden hesitation, that quiet discomfort in your chest, that's not weakness. That's awareness trying to speak. You were trained to silence it, to be polite, to avoid conflict, to stay agreeable. But your instincts were never wrong. You just stopped listening. So start again. Listen when something feels off, even if you can't explain it. Listen when someone's words sound right, but their tone doesn't match. Listen when your peace starts to shrink in someone's presence. Because that's your mind warning you that control is creeping in. Awareness begins when you stop ignoring yourself. Once you trust your instincts, the next step is boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates. You decide who walks through. You decide who stays. Because the truth is, people don't respect what you don't protect. Every manipulator tests your limits, not to see if you'll say no, but to see if you'll mean it. And when you finally start saying no with conviction, you'll watch the wrong people disappear and the right ones stay. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're survival, because you can't save your peace while keeping the door open for chaos. And then comes knowledge, your sharpest weapon. Once you know how manipulation works, once you understand gaslighting, mirroring, flattery, and you begin to see it everywhere, you'll notice it in advertisements, trying to shape your desires. You'll see it in conversations that twist guilt into obedience. You'll hear it in voices that sound caring but crave control. Knowledge doesn't make you paranoid. It makes you awake, because the more you know, the less they can hide. The truth is, influence isn't evil. It's just energy. You can use it to manipulate, or to inspire, to break people, or to build them. The same psychology that destroys, trust can also restore it, when used with empathy. The same persuasion that sells lies can also share truth, when driven by integrity. You don't have to reject influence. You just have to own it, because once you understand the mind, you can choose how to use its power, not against others, but for yourself. This is where you reclaim your control, not by shutting the world out, but by seeing through it. You start responding consciously instead of reacting emotionally. You start hearing tone, reading silence, feeling energy, and you begin to realize manipulation loses power the moment you name it. Call it out in your mind. Recognize it. Say, I see what this is, because the act of seeing is the act of freeing. That's how you take back your mind. Not by fighting people, but by mastering yourself. By knowing what triggers you, what weakens you, what patterns you keep repeating. Because every manipulator needs one thing to win: your emotional predictability. Once you stop reacting, the game collapses. Let them test you. Let them try to provoke, flatter, or confuse you. Stay still. Watch. Breathe. Control isn't always about domination. Sometimes it's about calm. That's real power. The kind that doesn't shout, doesn't prove, doesn't beg to be seen. It just is, because awareness changes everything. It makes you dangerous, not to others, but to their illusions. And soon you'll realize you don't need to manipulate to win. You just need to see clearly enough to never be manipulated again. Your mind is your fortress. Protect it. Feed it truth. Guard it with boundaries. No one deserves access to your peace without permission. Remember, the greatest form of freedom isn't walking away from control. It's understanding that no one can control you once you control yourself. So, when they try to twist your truth, stand firm. When they try to soften your no, make it sharper. When they try to play with your emotions, and play with silence, because silence is the loudest language of power. In a world built on manipulation, awareness is rebellion. And once you learn to see through their masks, you stop fearing them and start mastering yourself. You are not weak for being fooled once. You were just unaware. But now you know the patterns, and that makes you unstoppable. Because the mind that sees cannot be deceived. The heart that listens to its own truth cannot be broken, and the soul that chooses awareness over comfort becomes untouchable. Remember this: no one controls the mind that dares to see, and once you see, you never look away again.